Okay, so with the frame, we've got a few rounds here, and we start with, well, you can hardly sort of see it from the front really, but we start by covering up those leaf chains that we've made. So if you look on the back, you can see the leaf chains are sort of hidden by parchment here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the rounds and show you what it looks like at the back at the end of each round, because that's a real good indicator of where everything should be sitting. Okay, I've got parchment to make this frame, there's the word, and I will begin by joining into the one double crochet that sits before the puff stitch, so just into there. That's where we all start off, and we're largely just double crochet. I think we've got a treble or two in here, but they're not difficult stitches. Again, it's just placement. So start off there in the normal way, and because we're working double crochet, that little securing loop does not count as our first stitch. So I'm going to put my first double crochet into there, and then one into the next 2 stitches, and that brings me across to the first chain space, and we're going to fill up these chain spaces with double crochet to cover them up. Okay, so that's 5 double crochet. We're going to need to put 5 in there to cover that. Okay, so we've filled up that chain space with 5 chain. We've hit the corner here, so we've got to do something behind this corner, and there's a little bit of excitement happening behind here. So we've made 3 chain, and that's very evidently not enough chain to get us beyond, you know, the width of that wide base of that leaf. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do something behind this leaf to create a little bit more structure. If I look at the one that's complete here, can you see this sort of triangular situation going on here? We're going to create that, and here's how. We're going to be making treble next, so I'm just going to prepare my hook by putting the yarn around it once, and I will fold that whole leaf forward such that I can see all the way down to the blue of the petals. You can see those 2 double crochet stitches that we made there. They're 2 very definite V's, aren't they? Oh, let's use our hook. There's a V there and a V there, 1 and 2, and we're going to put a treble into that area. Now normally obviously we'd work into the top of a stitch. This is not where we're working here. We're going to pick up the middle 2 legs of this stitch. If I go, you can see that diagonal there. If I go behind the next leg and behind the one after that, that's where I'm going to make my treble. So it's into those stitches, but not in the conventional way. And if I pull that leaf forward, it's completely hidden. Okay, so I'm going to make 3 chain, and we'll complete that little triangle, okay, by making another treble into the same place. All right, so just find where you went before, do it again. So it's sort of the 2 middle legs of those 2 stitches, and off we go with 3 more chain. So that brings us round to the next chain space, and just as we did at the very beginning, we're going to fill that up with double crochet. So 5 more double crochet in there. And that brings us back to the beginning of the repeat. All right, so we go back into the stitch before the puff, and off we go, off we go. So you will see, if I switch this over, that we've started to create another piece of foundation at the back that we can build on to create the frame. So I'm going to go all the way around and finish that little bit of foundation work, and we'll have a look at what it looks like when I've finished. Okay, I've finished the first round of the frame, and we're continuing working with the same colour, so it's parchment for me, so I've not fastened off. So I'm just going to extend that loop a bit and take my hook out so we can see what's happening on the back. So if I turn that over onto the back, you can see the completed foundation. We've got the slightly taller stitches here, which are the double crochets, those little triangles at the corner, and chains in between. So we've started or we've created a foundation which we can build the rest of the frame on, and that's what we're going to do. We will continue now with round 10. Now in round 10 we join in some of the stitches of the leaves. If you look here, you will see we have some leaf stitches that are joined. Okay, oh, I'm a bit over here, aren't I? Some leaf stitches that are joined. So let's have a look at how we do that, just to make sure you're clear on that joining part, and then it's very much plain sailing. Right, the beginning part is really straightforward. We're going to just pop some double crochets in. So I'll hop across those double crochets. Okay, we've got 1/2 treble into these last 2 stitches. And then we're going to work into the next chain space behind the leaf. Okay, we will make 3 treble in there. So what we've done is we've started to even out that side. If you look there, you can see we're starting to get a straight line across that edge. That's what we're doing. We're building from shorter to taller stitches to create a square edge or a flat edge. Okay, we're now going to start joining in the leaf. So in your pattern you will see it says to skip some of the leaf stitches, and it doesn't mean from here, it means from the actual base of this leaf. This is where you start your count from. Okay, so you're going to skip the 1 double crochet down here, and you're going to skip the 3 stitches of this leaf. So skip that double crochet, skip 1, 2, 3, and so you start in this stitch here. All right, so make sure you start your count right down from the base of the leaf, the very first sort of decent green stitch that you can see. And we will be working we'll be working into the back loop of the leaf stitches. Okay, so skipping that 1 and the first 3, I'm going to hold where my nail is. That's where I'm going to put my 1/2 trebles into the back loop only. Okay, of the next 2. That's 1, that's 2, and then double crochet into the next 2. That's 1, that's 2. So back loop only. All right, we're going to make 2 chain here and skip that picot at the top. All right, and then come down the other side and do what we've just done there. So it's 2 double crochet, one into the back loop of the next 2 stitches, I should say. 1/2 treble into the back loop of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. And then we're sort of back to reversing that pattern. So 3 treble into that chain. Whoops. So we're going to skip this first stitch, and it's 1/2 treble, 1, 1/2 treble, and 2, 1 double into the next 8 stitches. 1, 2. All right, and that's brought us back to the beginning of our repeat, and round you go again. So let's just stop there and have a look at what we've done. You can see what we've created in this corner is the straightening. I forget, I drop that every time, don't I? The straightening of those edges by filling the gaps in with appropriately length stitches. So we start short with the double crochets, we build with the 1/2 trebles, we've got some trebles behind, and then we work into the back loops of the leaf stitches to join it in. And that's what the repeat is, going all the way around. So let me finish that, and again we'll have a look at from the front and from the back. Okay, there I am at the end of round 10. and I've slip stitched to join. We're still not getting rid of the yarn yet. Fastening off is probably the best way of describing that, isn't it? So we're still a little wiggly, but again, don't worry, because blocking will take care of all of that. So if I sort of just manipulate that a little bit, you can see how easily that's going to become straighter than it is at the moment. Looking on the back then, you'll be able to see how we've utilised that foundation to build on and how much straighter everything is starting to look. Okay, so we've just got a couple more rounds to finish our frame. Let's have a look at what we need to do in round 11. Right, we start very in a very familiar way by just working 13 double crochet, and things just get a slight bit interesting when we get to the corner. So I'll do that, and then we'll discuss what happens when we get to the corner. Okay, so that's the 13th of the double crochet to start, and that brings me up to that 2 chain space that we made on the last round, just at the top of the green leaf. And I'm going to put 1 half treble into there, and we're then going to put a treble straight through the picot and through the chain space. So it was a small picot, wasn't it? So we're going to have to sort of find the middle. And make sure your hook goes through the chain space as well at the same time. Bring the yarn through, and that becomes a treble. Okay, and that then we'll finish that little corner off by 1 more half treble into the chain space. And that really, that little corner is the only twiddly bit in this whole round. So you then do 26 double crochet across that edge, so you can see it's just a straight run all the way across until you perform that maneuver again at the other corner. So I'm going to go all the way around and finish those. If you want to look at that again, have a rewind. If not, I'll see you at the end. Right then, there we are at the end of round 11, and round 11 was the last piece of joining we were going to do for the leaf, and that's what we did in the corner there. So now everything is absolutely joined, and if you look at the back, you can see that we're just now building into the parchment stitches. So all of our foundation has done its job. There's no more having to work behind any leaves or into any leaves or anything like that. So once you've done that, you've got quite plain sailing on the very last round, which is round 12, just to add another round of double crochet and just a little half treble, I think, at the corner. Half treble, half treble, yes. So you got 3 stitches in the corner, slightly longer stitches, but that's nothing at all that you can't handle without a video. So once you put your next round on, that will be complete and you can fasten off. And again, just looking at the back there, you can see that there's no more change to the foundation on the back. And once you've done that, it will grow a little bit from where we are now, and then once you've blocked it, you can block it out to size, and you've got that really beautiful, almost inset motif of the Moffat flower, and we are finished with that motif now and ready to move on to another one.